Hello everybody, welcome back to the Traxion YouTube channel. Now, it's week 6 of my Fanatec GT3 track guide series on iRacing, and it brings us this week to the beautiful Spa. Now, Spa is probably the most popular track for GT cars on any simulator, but this week it's going to be super busy on iRacing because of the weekend we've got the Spa 24. Now, this is my first time driving at Spa since the new update, so Spa on iRacing now has a new off-track system where all 4 wheels have got to be off the track before it registers an incident point. Now, it's taken me a while to get my head around that because I've been driving Spa as I've been driving it for years. So it will take you a little while and you probably will find yourself reverting back to how you used to drive, but you attack the outside curbs here in Spa more than you ever have done. Now, if you followed my track guides before, you will know that they are not a place for hot laps. Yes, we can go quicker, but this is all about a slow, methodical approach to learn the circuit where I show you my braking markers, my reference points, and talk about the little quirks that each circuit has. So as usual, we'll show you the flying lap in full, and then we'll jump in the car, do a couple of laps, show you my braking markers and reference points in action, then talk about pit entry and pit exit. So, enough talking. Let's get on track. So here we are then on the grid here at Spa. So I've set this session to match the official series. So the date is the 24th of July 2021 and the time in the sim is 9:30 in the evening. We're also using the iRacing medium downforce sprint setup, which is the setup used for the official series. Brake bias, we're using 53.2 this week. There is a lot of trail braking. I have gone lower and I've gone higher. 53.2 is a good compromise, I think, anyway. Now, one thing to bear in mind here this week here at Spa is this is not the start-finish line. The start-finish line is down the hill. So at the start of the race, don't get your foot down thinking everybody's going to go here. They might if they let the pace car run on a bit, but the actual start-finish line is down the hill. So just bear in mind that you don't pass anybody before the green flag. So, it's going to be a really busy week this week with the Spa-24 coming up. So turn 1, we're approaching it from this side, and we're going to be up to 4th gear. And my braking marker here, or what I use as my reference point, is the dirt on the road that you can see in front of you. So just at the end of that dirt, we're going to be braking in a straight line all the way down into 1st gear. Now the objective here is to turn in as late as you possibly can, because when you get your foot down out of this turn, you're not going to let it up for quite a considerable time. Going to be flat out through Eau Rouge, up the Kemmel Straights, all flat out. So whatever you can carry through this turn is going to benefit you at the end of the Kemmel Straight. And that's one of the biggest overtaking places here at Spa. Now, as I mentioned, Spa's using the new off-track system here. So you need to attack the outside curbs more than you ever have done before. It's taken me a while to learn the new track, the off-track system, and it's still at times I'm finding myself using the old system and the old markers. So here we're going to be turning in round about this dirt on the road there, and we're going to be nice and tight on the apex because it is a little bit cambered on the apex here. So you want to be round about here, and then you want to be attacking the outside curb. Get your car right over there, don't be frightened. You won't get off track unless all 4 wheels are over. And then it's flat out down here. We're going to be hitting 5th gear on a flying lap. And you want your car right over to the right hand side. And we're going to be turning in and cutting this curb on the left hand side. So we're going to be cutting it, and we'll want our car round about here. This is where we want it. And then just at the end of the painted curbs there straight in front of us, you can see the rubbered line. We want to be following that, and this is flat out. Flat out. We've got off track there because we didn't turn in. But this is flat out here, and we want to try and straight line this as much as you can. Sometimes the car will get a little bit squiddly, but you want to try and straighten the steering as much as you can, because if it does slide a little bit, it just scrubs off speed that you might have gained coming out of that first turn. And then here, we want to be cutting this curb, and then the car will just track out wide. And then this is all flat out, as I mentioned. This is probably, yeah, there's 2 places where you're going to hit 6th gear. This is probably the place where you're going to hit 6th gear for the longest. And then here, braking marker is going to be the curbs on the left-hand side, just the start of the curbs. What I like to do, I like to position my car and get on the brakes and use all of the curb on braking as much as I possibly can. Turning in probably just about the end of the curb there. Down to 2nd gear, and then you cut this one. Not too much because you will get off track, but cutting this one then opens up this left-hand turn here. And I like to cut this one as well because there's a horrible bump. If you don't cut it, there's a horrible bump mid-corner which can unsettle the car. So I always like to try and get my left wheels on the curb at that point. Sacrifice a little bit of speed on exit. You don't want the car running right over to the right-hand side. Just back off a little bit because we want the car over to the left. Again, be careful of this curb on the left-hand side. Many times you just touch your rear wheel on there when you're turning in and you're gone. It spins. So I try and avoid the curb on the left here as much as I can. And they're going to be up to 3rd gear. You can cut this one a little bit. It's not too bad. But this is one of the places where you're going to have the new approach to Spa on iRacing. Because we all try and stay off the AstroTurf here because we used to get an off-track. But now you can use the AstroTurf. As long as you get back on before the sand, it's fine. Now the run down to this tricky hairpin. Now what I like to do, I brake just at the end of the curbs on the left-hand side. Just as we approach this section, I get on the brakes. Some people take a wide line around here, but I like to double apex this one if I can. We're braking, we're going to hit the first apex, 2nd gear, and we're going to just trail brake a little bit and get the car to come back. And then when you see this marker on the wall there coming to your view, that's what I use as my cue really to get on the gas. That's my safe place to get on the gas, and I know I'm not going to run too wide. So when I see that, I can get on the gas. The car will run out wide here, but then you want the car back over to the right hand side. Now you will see people using this curb. The Porsche doesn't seem to like it too much. It just affects the point where I want to turn in. I like the car nice and settled here, and I would rather compromise a little bit on entry and gain it on the exit. So I try and stay off that curb if I can. So this is going to be third gear. We're going to be cutting this one a little bit and then let the car run all the way out wide. Again, we used to get an off track here in Spa, but not anymore. And the run down to this double left. Now, it's easy to get a little bit greedy going into this section. Really, really easy. You've got to hit, if you hit your first apex, then you're almost guaranteed to hit the second one. And braking markers here, you can see the tyre marks on the road there. That's what I use. They don't change. They're there all the time. So we're going to be in fifth gear down here. Then we're going to be changing down into fourth gear. We're going to be braking just after the tyre marks in a straight line. Down into fourth gear. Nice and smooth. And then we're going to be aiming for this first apex. Now, as soon as we're on this apex roundabout here in fourth gear, we're going to be getting on the gas hard and don't let off. The car will run wide, but if you keep turning left, you'll get it back for this second apex. Be careful on exit here with this curb. If you go too far off, there's a horrible bump. And then this complex here, this section is really, really important. And this is one of the places where you can overdrive at Spa. It's so easy just to push a little bit too hard. Now, braking here is just before the curb on the left-hand side. There's a couple of lines through here. You can brake really deep and cut it back, but I like to try and hold a nice tight line around here. So we're braking at the end of the curb, third gear. If you need that little bit of extra rotation, you can drop it down to second gear, but I like to keep it nice and tight around here. And then just at the end of the curb on the right hand side, just after, that's going to be our cue to turn left. Now, I like to cut a little bit of this on entry, then get on the gas. Another one of those new Spa off-track moments. We can run it right out wide there, and then back up to fourth gear, sorry, here for this right-hander. Now, you can use second or third here. Again, it's all about whether you need that extra rotation. If you feel that there's a bit of understeer, just knock it down to second gear, and that will help the car rotate. So we're braking just before the curbing on the left-hand side. We're going to be using this AstroTurf here, and we're going to be braking in a straight line, second or third gear. And you want to be on the gas nice and early. When you get to this point, you're on the gas. Let the car run right out wide on this AstroTurf. Here, in the old Spa, we would be getting an off-track, but because our right-hand side wheels are not off-track, happy days. Now, there's a temptation here to run all the way to the very end, turn into this turn really late, but there's a bump at the end of this curb which unsettles the car. So I always turn a little bit earlier. You might have to lift a tiny bit, just ease off, not completely lift, just ease off to stop the car plowing a bit wide. You can run all the way out. And again, this is another place where you would get an off track really easily, but as long as all four wheels aren't off the racing line or off the circuit, then you won't get an off track. Then it's the run up to Blanchimont. Then you will have to lift if you don't get it bang on here. You've got to get your turn in absolutely spot on to take this flat out, but you can run a bit wider than you could do previously. So this is fifth gear. We're going to be holding fifth gear, and we're going to be turning in nice and early. Apexing this one early. Don't hit that curb if you can help it. Let the car run all the way out wide, but get it back on before that point, and you're okay. And then the run down to the final chicane, which is another big overtaking opportunity. So braking marker, again, the dirt on the circuit is what I use. So just as we hit the dirt, we're going to be braking in a straight line all the way down the first gear. We're going to be turning in quite late here because we want the car on the right hand side at this point to open up the left to get us a good run out of this turn. So then a little lift, don't hit the sausage curb on the inside, but then we need to attack the outside curb, which we were never able to do. Then run out wide, and then it's back up. So we'll pick up the pace a little bit now. So we're going to be using the dirt, the end of the dirt on the left hand side. We're going to be braking all the way down into first gear. We're going to be nice and tight against the wall, attack the outside curb, because now we're flat out all the way up. Well, we might not be now because the tyres are a little bit cold. We might have to lift a tiny bit. Then we're turning in, cutting this, then turning in there. Even with cold tyres, it's flat. That shows the importance of getting a good exit out of turn number 1 and up to 6th gear. We're going to be using the start of the curves on the left hand side as our braking marker, all the way down to 2nd gear. We'll brake in there, use all the curves out to 2nd gear, cut this one, again cut this one because there's a horrible bump, sacrifice a little bit on exit, 3rd gear, let it run right out wide, and up to 4th, braking just at the start of the curb, down to 2nd gear. We're going to be looking for our marker, there it is, we can get on the gas. Don't use this curb on the right if you can help it, but get on the gas early, use all of this on exit. Previously you were getting off track. I'm looking for the tyre marks, there they are, so braking in 4th gear, get on the gas at the apex, and then if you keep turning left you'll get it back for the 2nd one. So just before the start of the curbs here, we're going to be braking. You need that extra rotation, just go down a 2nd like I did there, up to 3rd, cut this one, and get on the gas, use all of this on the exit, no off track, braking down, you can either use 3rd or 2nd, it doesn't really matter. And before the end of the curb we're going to be turning in to 4th, a little lift there, just to make sure we get round without the off track. It's flat out here, ideally, but you might have to just feather the throttle a tiny bit. You need to turn in early. There's a little bit late there, you see. Still didn't get off track, which is good. And just at the start of the dirt, braking, straight line, back to 1st gear. Late apex because you want the car over to the right. Then attack the outside curb. There we go. We'll do one more lap, try and pick up the pace a little bit more. We're just at the end of the dirt, straight line, out the 1st gear, nice and tight, attack the outside curb. It's better. This is flat out, puts all the way down up to 5th gear, and we're just following the rubbered line really. Nice and tight, then straighten the wheels, just to stop the car scrubbing. We don't want to hold 5th gear too much here, about 244 kilometers, I change up to 6th. And at the start of the curb, we're going to be moving on to the curb itself and braking all the way down to 2nd gear. Cut this one, nice and gentle, patient on exit, up to 3rd, little lift and back on it. Still no off track, a little bit sloppy there. Start of the curb there, down to 2nd gear, double apex, let it run right out wide. Looking for our marker, there it is. Nice and patient through here, get on the gas early. Looking for our tyre marks. There they are. We'll get on the gas at the apex. You're almost guaranteed to make the 2nd one. Really easy there to push too wide. So just before the curves on the left, I'm going to be braking. Down to 3rd gear. Use that 2nd gear for a little bit of extra rotation. Up to 3rd. Put the one on the inside. Get on the gas, now run right out wide. Up to 4th. Just before the curves, on the brakes. On the gas early. But don't go right to the end of the curb. We'll try and nail Blanchimont this time. We were a bit late in turning in last time. We'll leave it in 5th gear. If you nail it, then you can shift up to 6th afterwards. It's better. There we go. Then up to 6th now. Just at the start of the dirt, we're going to be braking. Nice late turn in because we want the car over to the right. Little lift. Attack the outside curb. There we go. That's a nice steady lap. So the start-finish line there for your laps is just there where we've passed it, but the actual start, or the race start, will be down this hill. Right, so now we're going to look at pit entry and pit exit. So pit entry and pit exit at Spa isn't too bad. However, you need to signal your intentions early. You need to be on the right-hand side coming out the first part of this chicane. So you need to either make sure that you're on the right hand side, or if somebody's behind you, let them through so you can enter the pits safely. So You either want to be here and hold a tight line around this first part, or if somebody's pushing behind, then let them go for it. Let them have the position, because you need your car right over here, because we're going straight on into the pit there. You can see the arrows. Now, there's a couple of places on pit entry which are quite tricky. The first one is here, because there's a wall on the inside that it's really easy to catch the rear quarter of your car on entry. So you can see the green paint on the road surface there. We want to be to the right of that, avoiding it. We want to be turning in quite late, avoiding the wall there on the right hand side, but avoiding the wall here on the left. There's not much of a run up here, so we will be in second gear, and we're going to be braking down to first gear, and then it's the long pit, so you've got to go all the way down here and then down the hill to your pit box. Now, this is the second tricky part of the pit stop here. So it's flat out, and then we're gonna have to lift a little bit just to make sure that you don't hit the wall on the left there. I would rather just waste a tiny bit of time rather than get damaged, because a clean car is really important here at Spa, and then it's just a run down to your pit box, wherever that may be. Pit exit is really easy. The green cones are just at the bottom of this hill. You can see where the red paint is down the middle of the circuit there in the pit road, and there's the green cones just at the end. We're just going to be releasing the pit limiter there, and then up to third gear, but then you're going to have to lift as you go around here and be very, very careful. It's really easy to push on and go straight on there, but nice and gentle, and just watch for traffic coming up the top of the hill there, because they are going to be flat out. This is, like I mentioned, one of the overtaking opportunities, so people don't want to lift here at this point. So just watch for traffic, stay right over to the right hand side. They'll see you on the relative, hopefully. Just stay right over to the right hand side, let those guys go, and on your merry way. So there we go, that's the track guide done. Hopefully it helps. Please let me know in the comments if it does. It always makes my day when somebody says they've gone a little bit quicker. If there's anything that we haven't covered in the guide that you would like covered moving forward, please let me know in the comments. We're all about trying to help. That's what these guides are about. And if I'm not covering something that needs covered, then please let me know. So as always, thank you for watching. Good luck this week. See you later. Cheers.